You wake up with a plan, not a vague idea, a real plan. Today is the day you take control, the day you finally execute. You can feel it, this quiet determination sitting in your chest. But then, you reach for your phone, just a quick check, just 1 second. A notification lights up, then another, a message, a video, a scroll that feels harmless. Seconds turn into minutes, minutes bleed into an hour, and somewhere in that blur, your focus disappears. The plan you were so sure about, it starts to feel distant, heavy, optional. By the time you look up, the day isn't yours anymore. It slipped through your fingers without a fight, and that voice shows up right on cue. Maybe I'm just lazy, but pause right there, because lazy doesn't feel frustrated. Lazy doesn't feel guilty. Lazy doesn't sit there wondering why they can't follow through. You do, which means this isn't laziness. This is conditioning. Your mind has been quietly trained, day after day, scroll after scroll, to chase what's easy, fast, and instantly rewarding. Not because you're weak, but because distraction was designed to win. Let's get something straight, right now. Laziness is not your problem, because lazy people don't sit in silence feeling that quiet pressure in their chest. They don't replay their day thinking, I could have done more. They don't carry that weight, that tension, that awareness that something isn't right. But you do. You feel it when the day ends and nothing meaningful moved forward. You hear it in your own thoughts. I'm falling behind. I'm wasting time. I need to change. That voice isn't weakness. It's awareness. And awareness doesn't come from laziness. It comes from knowing you're capable of more. So if it's not laziness, then what is it? It's something deeper, something quieter, something far more powerful than most people realize. Your brain has been trained, not for focus, not for discipline, but for stimulation, fast, easy, constant. Every scroll, every notification, every quick hit of entertainment has built a pattern, a loop your mind now craves without asking permission. This isn't about rest. This isn't about comfort. This is about dependency. And once you truly see it, once you recognize the pattern behind your behavior, you can't go back to believing you're just lazy, because now you know what you're really fighting. Every time you scroll, every time you jump from one tab to the next, every time you chase something new just to feel something, your brain gets rewarded. A quick hit, a tiny surge, a momentary high that feels almost invisible, but powerful enough to pull you back again. It's fast, it's effortless, and that's exactly why it's dangerous, because distraction never asks anything from you. It doesn't test you, it doesn't push you, it doesn't make you uncomfortable. It simply hands you pleasure instantly, no delay, no resistance, no cost. But here's the catch. It gives you that feeling without building anything real. No growth, no progress, no momentum, just a loop. And the more you repeat that loop, the more your brain adapts to it. It starts to prefer what's easy over what's meaningful, what's quick over what's valuable, not because you lack discipline, but because your system has been quietly rewired to chase convenience. So when real work shows up, slow, challenging, demanding, your mind resists, not out of weakness, but because it's been trained to escape. Here's the part most people avoid, because it cuts deeper than wasted time. Distraction isn't just stealing your hours, it's reshaping how you see yourself. Every time you leave something unfinished, every time you push a goal to tomorrow, every time you make a promise to yourself and quietly break it, something shifts. Not outside, inside, a small crack forms in your self-image. At first, it's barely noticeable. You brush it off, you justify it. You say, I'll fix it later. But later becomes a pattern, and patterns become identity, until one day, you hesitate before committing to anything meaningful, not because you don't want it, but because a part of you doesn't believe you'll follow through. You say, I'll start soon. But deep down, there's doubt, and that doubt, that's the real cost. Because now it's not just about getting things done, it's about whether you trust your own word, whether your actions still match your intentions. And when that alignment breaks, It doesn't just affect your productivity, it affects your self-respect. And once that starts slipping, everything else follows. Your brain isn't broken. It's doing exactly what it was built to do: protect you, conserve energy, and chase what feels good. It's efficient. It scans your environment and asks one simple question: where is the fastest reward with the least amount of effort? Deep work doesn't win that equation, because real focus is demanding. It stretches your attention. It forces you to sit with uncertainty, to push through moments where progress feels slow, almost invisible. And your brain reads that as resistance, as discomfort, sometimes even as risk. But scrolling is clean, predictable, controlled. There's no failure, no pressure, no waiting. You tap, you get rewarded again and again and again. So your brain adapts. It starts choosing what's immediate over what's meaningful, what's easy over what's important, not because it doesn't care about your goals, but because it's wired to prioritize how you feel right now. And when that choice is repeated every single day, when instant comfort keeps winning over long-term growth, it stops being a moment. It becomes a pattern, and eventually, that pattern becomes your reality. But here's where everything shifts. Quietly, but powerfully, the moment you catch yourself and think, this isn't who I am, this is what I've been trained to do, something changes inside you. You stop attacking yourself and start understanding the pattern, and that's where your power returns, because anything learned can be unlearned, anything repeated can be reshaped, anything wired into your habits can be rewired with intention. But none of that starts with force. It starts with awareness, not guilt, not shame, not calling yourself names in your own head, just awareness, clean, honest, unfiltered. The next time your hand moves toward your phone without thinking, don't rush it, don't suppress it. Pause, create a small gap between the urge and the action. And in that gap, ask one question: am I choosing this, or am I reacting? That question cuts through autopilot. It brings you back into control, because the moment you realize you have a choice, even for a second, the pattern weakens. And in that tiny moment of awareness, you begin to take your mind back. You don't need to flip your entire life upside down to take control. You don't need superhuman discipline or some perfect morning routine. What you need is control over the small moments most people ignore. Because your life isn't built in giant breakthroughs, it's shaped in the quiet decisions no one sees. Start simple, remove what pulls you away, silence the noise that keeps calling your name. Notifications, alerts, constant pings, they're not harmless, they're hooks. Create distance between you and distraction, make it harder to escape, because right now it's too easy to drift, and anything that's easy will always beat what's important. Then shift your focus, not for hours, not for perfection, just for a few minutes of real, uninterrupted effort. Sit down, pick one task, and give it your full attention for 10 minutes. No switching, no checking, no excuses, just presence. It will feel uncomfortable at first, almost unnatural. Good. That discomfort is proof something is changing, because in that moment, you're not just working, you're retraining your mind to stay. This goes deeper than productivity. This is about identity, about the version of you that shows up, consistently, quietly, powerfully, the one who doesn't just start, but finishes, the one who doesn't just plan, but follows through, the one who keeps promises, not to the world, but to themselves, because that's where real confidence is built, not in what you say, but in what you repeatedly do. And at the center of all of it is your attention, your ability to decide what deserves your focus and what doesn't. Because attention isn't just a tool, it's your most valuable asset. It shapes your days, it directs your energy, it determines the quality of your life. Where your attention goes, everything else follows. If it's scattered across endless distractions, your life begins to feel fragmented, chaotic, out of control. But when it's focused, when it's intentional, something shifts. you gain momentum, clarity sharpens, progress becomes real, and slowly, without noise or validation, you become someone different, someone in control. So the next time you feel it, that quiet pull in your chest, that reflex to reach, to scroll, to disappear for a while, pause, not with force, not with frustration, just pause, let the urge rise without immediately obeying it. Watch it like an outsider, calm, aware, in control. Because you don't have to fight every distraction, you just have to stop surrendering to it. And in that small space between impulse and action, that's where your power lives, not in perfect discipline, not in extreme motivation, but in a single conscious decision. You're not lazy. You've just been pulled in too many directions for too long. But now you see the pattern. Now you understand the game. And that changes everything, because awareness gives you a choice. So don't wait for the right mood. Don't wait for tomorrow to feel different. Start now. Start small. One moment of focus, one task completed, one promise kept, and then another. Because the life you're chasing isn't built through more effort alone. It's built by removing what's been stealing your attention all along.